Chelsea are the kings at selling players, mostly to Arsenal. But Chelsea, I don't think there's a better team than Chelsea at selling players. I don't think there's a more annoying team than Chelsea to deal with in the transfer window. And Chelsea want Alejandro Garnacho. And a lot of Chelsea fans aren't happy about that. But all I'm saying is, Alejandro Garnacho for the 35 million that Chelsea are trying to get him for is a disgrace. That is a pure robbery of Manchester United. I don't care if you dislike Alejandro Garnacho, but if you're getting him for less than £40 million, that is a pure robbery. Because even if he's bad, I'm sure Arsenal will buy him off you for 60 million next season. We've got to talk about Chelsea, the king of sales. How I just feel they're scamming everyone. I mean, Madueke and Felix were signed for a combined 66 million. If their add-ons are achieved, they will sell the two for 95.7 million. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Madueke is a good player. He's not a £55 million player. Arsenal overpaid on him, but he's a good player. I like Madueke. I think he will be good at Arsenal. But for me, and I think he would have been a good option for Chelsea for depth. But I feel like he's not good enough to be Chelsea's starting left or right winger, but he's a good depth option. But 23, £55 million, good profit on him. Joao Felix, I know he's gone to Saudi, but how you might make profit on him after how awful he was last season. And again, Joao Felix isn't really young anymore. I think he's 25 now, is he? 25 years of age now. He's going to be 26 this season. I mean, that's crazy. Kai Havertz, who, yes, he scored the Champions League winning goal, but he wasn't great at Chelsea, but you still got 65 million for him. Now, Mason Mount was better than Kai Havertz at Chelsea, but Mason Mount is just a walking injury. 1 year on his deal, and my club spent 16 million on a guy that cannot play more than 3 Premier League games in a row without getting injured. Chelsea may break even on Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Again, is a talented young player, but he barely played, and you're looking at breaking even. Big profit on Viega. Even players like Lewis Hall, which has been well worth the 30 million for Newcastle United, but he only played 8 games at the time Chelsea sold him, and they got 30 million. They got 40 million for Ian Maatson, whereas Manchester United try and sell their left back, who had a really good loan spell in Alvaro, to Benfica for 4 million quid, and now Real Madrid are buying him for 40 million quid. Man United have left back, really good loan spell, 4 million quid. Maatson, good loan spell, 40 million quid. Lewis Hall, 30 million quid. It's like, I'm not saying these are bad players. Like Lewis Hall has been well worth the 30 million pounds, but like, you just look at it and it's infuriating. And I'm jealous. I am jealous at how good Chelsea are. 20 million for Angelo. Broha could be going to Burnley for 20 million. The Sassy, they could be getting 25 million. And the worst part about it is, they said to Man United they want 80 million for Jackson. I mean, if Sesko's 80 million, I can see. But Nicholas Jackson, good first half of the season. I think he's a little bit underrated. I think he gets way too much stick online. I think people make out he's way worse than he is online, because I watched him play the first half of the season. I don't think he's a bad player, and I think there's definitely Twitter PR that affects people, how they view players. He's not 80 million. Chelsea have said to Manchester United, we value Nicholas Jackson at 80 million and Ganacho at 35 million, and that is a disgrace. Now, Chelsea are the kings of selling, but Chelsea is scamming Manchester United. A lot of Chelsea fans are crying over Garnacho on the timeline. They don't want Garnacho. And look, he's got an ego. His brother's annoying. I get that. But you were praising Xavi Simons for liking a post about that Fabrizio Romano puts and pushing a move to Chelsea. But then when Garnacho does the same thing, these Chelsea fans are slamming Garnacho, saying he's got attitude issues. Come on. The way that this Garnacho transfer is being viewed by Chelsea fans compared to Sancho, who was a worse player than Ganacho at Manchester United. Garnacho took his place. Joao Felix, when you signed him, is crazy. Because Chelsea fans don't want Garnacho. Garnacho doesn't have the best attitude. He might miss a few chances. As someone that watched every single Alejandro Garnacho game last season, as someone that's watched every single Alejandro Garnacho game the last 2.5 seasons, how good he was in 23-24 under Ten Hag, where he was used as a touchline winger, which is how Maresca's going to use him. Garnacho, and I'm telling you this now, and you are not going to agree with my opinion, and you have every right to not want Garnacho. He's a bit of a brat, but he will be a good signing for Chelsea. He will start over Gittins for you. He is better than Jamie Gittins. I watched Dortmund. I watched Jamie Gittins. He really struggled the back end of the season. Jamie Gittins started really well at Dortmund when he was playing out wide as a touchline winger. He got moved more central. He struggled. Dortmund is an easier environment to thrive in. It is an easier league. And he struggled. And I think there's a great player in Gittins. He's got a great attitude, high ceiling. But Alejandro Garnacho did really well under Ten Hag. Amarin came in, he fell out of Amarin, he initially struggled, then he grew under Amarin, he adjusted to playing more central, and Garnacho ended the season looking quite good for Manchester United. You look at the game versus Brentford, he missed a few chances, but all I'm saying is, as someone that watched Gittins, as someone that watched Nico Williams, someone that watched Garnacho a lot last season, there isn't much difference between the players ability-wise other than PR. And people will call me crazy. But Nico Williams had a good Euros and he's linked to Barcelona. Watch Nico Williams' performance versus United. Watch Nico Williams' performance versus Besiktas. If Garnacho had put in that performance, he'd be getting slander on Twitter. Okay? Because he plays for Manchester United, he gets a different level of slander. Chelsea fans were annoyed 2 years ago when he spent 40 million on Cole Palmer. I remember seeing so many Chelsea fans like, why have we spent 40 million on Cole Palmer? Musiala's there, Elise's there. You're not annoyed now. I get Garnacho's an attitude issue. I get a lot of Chelsea fans don't want Garnacho. But if Alanga is 55 million, if Joao Felix is 45 million, if Gittins is 55 million, if Man United sell Garnacho to Chelsea for anything less than 50 million, we have been robbed by Chelsea. Because even if Garnacho goes to Chelsea, he complains that he's not starting enough and causes issues. You'll still probably sell him to Arsenal for 60 million next season and make a profit on him. Because you're Chelsea. That is what you do. And it makes me feel ill. And do you know what else makes me feel ill? Is my club is going to spend potentially 70 to 80 million on Benjamin Sesko, whereas Leipzig's best player, Xavi Simons, will go to Chelsea for 60 million. 60 million. How is Sesko worth more than Xavi Simons? Xavi Simons is so much better. My club is being mugged off. I mean, Newcastle are putting up the price because they're desperate. Hato, 35.5 million. Absolutely generational young centre-back with one of the highest ceilings in football. Hato, 35.5 million. Simmons, 60 million. 20 million for Angelo, 20 million for Brohard, potentially 25 million for Disassi. Ian Matson, 40 million. Lewis Hall, 30 million. Chelsea are the kings at sales. But I honestly think people accuse them of overpaying on Joao Pedro. You've got 30 million for Delap. You've got Joao Pedro for 60 million. In a market where Benjamin Sesko is 80 million, 55 million on Joao Pedro is an absolute bargain. Absolute bargain in a market where Ekatike and Sesko are going at those fees. Joao Pedro being Premier League proven. I'm just jealous. Chelsea is scamming Manchester United. I'm saying this now. Nicholas Jackson is valued at 80 million and Chelsea want Garnacho for 30 million. What Chelsea are doing, by the way, is Man United have fallen out with Garnacho. He's not welcome back to training. So Chelsea are like, if we run this Garnacho deal down to deadline day, United will have no choice but to cave and sell him for 30 million. United should get 50 million for Garnacho. Like, Garnacho got more goal contributions as a winger than Nicholas Jackson last season. Obviously, Jackson was injured. I just think it's crazy. I think it's crazy. Pedro Neto is in top 4, 57% possession team, had worse stats than Garnacho in a lower possession team for a 15th place side who's 4 years younger and he's only just turned 21. Okay? And people were like, I'm saying this now as a Manchester United fan. A lot of Man United fans don't like Garnacho because of attitude, because he missed a few big chances. I'm saying this now as someone that doesn't go social media PR and hype for a player, as someone that watches the player, as someone that isn't going to blame all of Manchester United's problems on one player. Alejandro Garnacho is good. If it was Rasmus Højlund, I wouldn't be saying the same thing. Alejandro Garnacho is good. Alejandro Garnacho is so much better than he gets credit for from Man United fans, from Chelsea fans. Alejandro Garnacho will go to Chelsea and be good. I can understand why Chelsea fans don't want him. I don't think you necessarily need another winger. We've got Xavi Simons and Gittins coming in. You've signed Joao Pedro and Delap. I don't necessarily think you need Alejandro Garnacho. You might want a goalkeeper. You might want an experienced centre-back because Hato's still quite young and could be left-back cover. I don't necessarily think you need Garnacho, but Alejandro Garnacho is a lot better than he gets credit for. Like, I like Jamie Gittins. I think Jamie Gittins will work really well under Maresca. I think he'll be a good signing. But 55 million after scoring 1 goal in 2025 and struggling to break into Dortmund. Garnacho has had 2.5 years experience in the Premier League. Go and watch Garnacho's highlights from Ten Hag's second season when we won the FA Cup. Go watch Garnacho's 23-24 season highlights when he would play similar roles to how he would under Maresca at age 19. Garnacho is one of the highest expected threats in the Premier League while playing for the worst United side in over 30 years. He's only ranked third behind Joao and Madueke for goal contributions for players aged 21 or younger. He's worth more than 30 to 35 million. If Chelsea get Garnacho for 30 to 35 million, I will be fuming because they can make profit on him. In a year, even if he's crap, you'll make profit on him. If he flops, you'll make a profit. He misses chances. He has bad attitude, but he's one of the most threatening players. Jadon Sancho was nowhere near as good as Garnacho at Man United because Jadon Sancho would get the ball and he was scared to take on his man or scared to take a risk or pass backwards and sideways. Garnacho would get the ball, take on 3 or 4 players, put in a cross, make things happen. Cole Palmer is really good at threading balls in behind, and Garnacho will be running onto them. And Garnacho will be dangerous. I honestly think Garnacho signs for Chelsea, and after about 10 games, all Chelsea fans will be hyping him. I think he will be very good for Chelsea. The cons. Ego, him and his brother complain online, misses big chances, can be selfish, decision-making can lack. Very raw. Inconsistencies, raw decision-makings. In a market where Madueke is 55 million, Garnacho for 30, 35 million is probably one of the best deals you're going to find. Going for less than Joao Felix. Matthias Tell is gone for 40 million. Do you know what I mean? He's underrated. He is underrated online due to our reactionary fan base. He's underrated online. He was able to show up despite poor teammates and tactical environments. Sancho couldn't do that. Foden couldn't do that at Man City when they dropped off. He works hard. Because Garnacho's got an ego and an attitude problem, people think he doesn't work hard. Garnacho is one of the hardest workers on the pitch. In terms of running, tracking back, Garnacho's at the top. I think that's a myth. Because Garnacho has ego issues, people think he doesn't work hard and doesn't track back. Oh, he tracks back. Garnacho tracked back more than anyone. Garnacho probably runs, and his running numbers were probably the highest at United in terms of intensity. He's one of the best players for off-the-ball runs, which Palmer will like, which Xavi Simons will like. He's very fast. He's very good in transition. He's very good at taking people on. He's got one of the highest expected threats in the Premier League. Yes, he underperformed his XG, but the fact he had one of the highest XGs in the Premier League for a United side that struggled to create anything is because he's very good at getting into dangerous positions, dangerous situations, dangerous movement. His off-the-ball movement is one of the best in the world. And I'm saying that about Ganacho. He's a risk taker. He's the opposite of Sancho, but he suits Maresca's system. Now, I can understand why did Chelsea need to spend 50 million on another winger after Simons and Gittins. I fully understand that. And I understand why Chelsea fans do not want Alejandro Garnacho. But if Chelsea fans are throwing their hands up at getting Garnacho for essentially 30 to 35 million, you've mugged us off. You've scammed us. You are the kings of scamming people in the window. And you scam Arsenal. You sell your players for great money. And look, I think Chelsea are going to have a good season. I think Chelsea, their transfer strategy weirdly worked. I think they're going to have a good season. I think they're going to be dangerous. Yeah. And I don't like that. Thank you for watching. Bye.